What's up, everybody? Happy New Year. What's going on? You can see that we are joined today by two awesome gentlemen and leaders. And you've already seen them on the podcast before, but now we're going to have a little bit of some fun and some discussion. So Scott, Michelet, of course, welcome, my friends. How are you guys?
Doing great. Good to see you guys. Good to see you, Scott. Good to see you, Alfonso.
Happy New Year. Yeah.
Happy New Year. Happy Saturday. Well, I wanted to dive right into it, because we were having some conversations, obviously, before we hit play and record on this. More than anything in today's podcast, we're going to be just tackling different topics, talking about different subjects pertaining to Atomy, the business, its products, everything, just so you can get some value additionally outside of just, of course, our amazing seminars and success academies and Zoom meetings, just to give you some new and fresh content. And why don't we dive right into it? Because on the topic that we were talking about, which is centers, education centers. And I sort of want to start the conversation on a little bit of a different note, or more of a general note on what we were talking about, which I was posing Scott and Michelet the question because they're both center leaders. So Scott, you have your center out in Lacey, Michelet at West Palm Beach. And so I was saying, how for somebody who's maybe considering, I was saying myself, I'm considering in Dallas potentially opening up a center and looking at the, what it takes and how you use it. So why don't we continue on with the conversation as to, what you made a good point, Scott. You were saying, really the center fee and, a lot of people looking for the commission originally wasn't necessarily made to break even, but to support the efforts of your business. So continue on with what we were talking about. So is there a break-even point? Do you look at it at the center commissions as something to break even on, or is it just a tool to be able to get something more?
Yeah, I think it's more of the tool. I don't think that people should be opening centers with the idea that the center fee is going to make them rich, right? That's not the purpose of it. The purpose of the center fee is Atomy's way of helping center managers manage the center. Obviously it takes money to open a center, right? And as far as that goes, I mean, you got rent, you've got insurance, you've got utilities, you've got the operational expenses, everything that goes into that, right? So it's not just rent. You look out there in the rental market for places to open up your center. And so you have to factor in all of those costs and realize that, you as a center manager, that's your place to grow your business, right? And your place to invite the public to come in and find out what Atomy's about. Show them products, show them a video, have a place to whiteboard with them and help educate them. It's an education center. And I think a lot of people think it's a retail space, and they get that misconception that it's a retail space, and it's not. You see all these products that I have here. These are all empty containers, empty bottles, things that have a little bit of lotion in them. Maybe people can come and smell them, try them. The real thing, the real encouragement is to encourage people to become members and buy from their own shopping mall.
Now, let me ask you a question on that note. At what point, I guess it's different for everybody, but at what point does it make sense to open up the center, right? Is it sort of the chicken before the egg? Do I do it now because I know that I'm going to be able to attract a lot of people with that center, or do I continue to build out of my living room and until I can't fit any more people in there, and then open up the center? I mean, what are your guys' thoughts or opinions on that?
If you want to, let me jump in on this one. For me, for example, when I actually decided to open a center, I have little kids, so having meetings done like Zoom meeting, because I opened my center during COVID, so it's mostly doing Zoom. Everything was online. I had a big team. I have a global team, so I do a lot of Zoom, and I also have a lot of members and in my state where I live. So I decided to open, really, that was just the reason, open the center so I can have a space to do the Zoom and to meet with the leaders that, do one-on-one, like 3, 4 people with small group. Because at the time we couldn't meet with a lot of people during COVID. That was my intention, just open the center for that. And because like for the cost, I tell people, if it's for the money, do not open the center, because don't think about that 6%. It's just for you. You might never break even, because in my case, I have a lot of people across the world. And today I talked to 2 Philippines, so I'm thinking about opening a big team, get a team in Philippines. So the better for me, the better, when I work with people outside of the United States, I even feel better about it because I like to travel. That opened the door for me. But having the center, it's a like Scott say, is a place for you to educate, to have a place to meet, and it's not just for you; it's for all the members and the company, in your team. So when they need a place to meet, and we have a weekly meeting, that way, we have like we celebrate birthday, we create a community.
I like that.
Where you can create the synergy, so people feel like they are in a family, for those that are around in the same area, that can get close. It's really, that's my use of the center. It's really to bring people together, bring them together, just like you have a church, you bring them together in the center.
I love that. I love that because when it comes down to the community part, right? A lot of people are looking for community, and I've actually found people that have come and joined Atomy because they fell in love with the community. They fell in love with the friendships that they started developing. They actually started. I know a lot of people that found emotional support in Atomy, right? Just for life in general. So I think it's awesome to be able to build that, and that's sort of my situation. That's what I was asking, because the majority of my team, I mean, really the big majority, is outside of my state, is in other states or it's in other countries. And so just wanted to go down y'all's thought process being center leaders, especially if there's people out there that are thinking about opening up a center, or they're weighing their options and they're seeing, some people may be looking at it as a business decision, which, based on both your responses, really don't make the decision based off of I'm expecting a certain amount of profit or to break even from it. Although I think that anybody ambitious enough, can turn around and probably make really good, especially if you're saying, I'm going to capture my entire city, right? And they really are going after that. I know that you can make some great money, but why don't we jump into something that I've been wanting to talk about in a panel, because I know that it can't just be, one team or one organization, especially because we're all human, and it's characters, personalities. A lot of people think that it's like, wow, well, Atomy, everything is so positive, but we also forget that we are dealing with and we are working with a lot of humans that have got emotions, that have personalities, that have, certain things may rub them the wrong way. And so one of the topics that I hear consistently in questions is, how do you work in a team when you have people that, are difficult to work with, and you have people that maybe, it comes to a point where they don't get along with other team members. So as a leader of your organization, of your business, how do you go about actually dealing with all the different personalities, maintaining unity? Because, it's so easy to, build momentum and you're working as a team, and then something maybe comes to try and cause a divide, and the momentum just starts falling because of it. So what have your experiences been in dealing with personalities and maintaining unity as a team? And I really love the vision for this year, right? And this global synchronization and being really of one mind, of one action, and really being aligned. So tell me a little bit about your guys' experience. Have you had that happen within your business? How have you gone about it? I want to pick y'all's brain.
Yeah, the one thing we got to realize or remember is that in the world of network marketing, we're dealing with people, right? We're dealing with individuals, we're building relationships. It's all about building relationships with people and bringing people together. And sometimes you're going to have people with very strong personalities and people that are timid, or maybe, people that have these passive aggressive type attitudes where they're happy one moment and not the next, or angry, whatever. And they might get into a meeting and not everybody gels, right?
Yeah.
And so if they're on the same team, network wise, what are the things that I do is obviously have a talk with them, and we have to have just an honest talk and just about what's going on. And if we can't come to an agreement on that, then what I do is I'll meet with that individual and their team separately than with the others. So because every person in Atomy, that signs up as a member has the free option to become a business owner, right? I mean, if they want to do the business. And so when someone makes up that decision, that choice to become a business, do this as a business, then I'll start meeting with them and their teams as a separate entity, right? I don't want to bring separation, but if we get people that can't work together, we have to set some boundaries and draw a line in the sand with people and just say, hey, look, you might not get along with this other person, but there are going to be times when we're all going to be in the same room together. So let's be responsible. Let's be adults. Let's work together. Let's be professional and lead by example and not cause those problems. But it's going to be a challenge because we're dealing with people.
Yeah, and I was going to say, let me throw a wrench in that mix, right? What happens if they're on the same line? And so when you're talking about mastership challenges, and you're going to challenge, and it's well, I don't want to.
I recently had that happen. We were supposed to have 5 people in December challenge, and 3 of the people decided not to. And the 2 people in the middle of those 5 decided to go forward with it. And it was, it caused some bad blood there for a moment,
Right.
Because it was on the day of the start of the challenge was when the 3 really said that they weren't going to do it.
I'm just laughing because I think I was the only one that have that problem sometimes. Like
that's a universal issue right there. But you know what? The thing is those other 3 people, they are preparing this year to challenge. So it's okay. It's okay to say that you want to do something and then at the last minute get cold feet and maybe not do it. It's okay. And we just plan it. We'll just plan it out separately. But
absolutely. Like, I mean, let me just say, I think we all probably, already experienced that. It's a challenge because, as much as we want people to run at the same time, sometimes people tend to change their mind. They're not ready, or they have the dog die, the cats die, something like that.
Yeah.
And something happened, and they change their mind, and that's the reason why. And if we have a mastership run, I identify some leaders that I know that well, positioned to possibly make it, but I get way more than what I need, just in case, because there's always that room for, someone, will have something come up. But here's one thing also, that's also very important. It's you talk about it, the communication level. You gotta, communicate and with the leaders. And to know, because a lot of people probably will stop a run, or they will stop doing something they don't see what's in it for them. You want them to understand, people really to have a good understanding what's in it for them, what doing this, what that will do. Okay, because I always tell all my leaders, even you don't make it, everybody in the team, if you can recruit somebody, I call you a leader. Okay, but you got to be able to recruit someone, and that person got to place an order. Once you can do that, you are a leader on the team. And I give you, that responsibility, but you know you gotta show it. So now getting the mastership, you gotta say, okay, what's in it? And I said, once someone become, you know, a sales master, diamond master, you know, whatever level, that create momentum. Even you don't get it, that create momentum in the team, and you will be next. So momentum is what we're looking for. So sometimes you might not be the person, so you want people to always see what's really in it for them. People do things really for benefits. What's really in it? What's you know what's that gonna do for me? You know, at the end of the day, people is people, no matter where they come from, you know, no matter what they want to do. You know, it's if they're in the business, the first thing they want to win. You know, you always got to give them the room and show them, you know, you are here, you will win. As long you engage, you stay there, you do what is necessary to win. My responsibility is to make sure that you win. So let's work together. So you're gonna find people, you know, of course, that you know, and that I tell you what, my team, you know, I got one side that a lot of leaders, you know, working closely together, doing great things. One top leader went down, went to divorce, and he kind of, you know, he was very influential to the team. And the fact that he went down, you know, it was tough. You know, it's like I had to rebuild, you know, from all over again. But keep it positive. You know, I work with those that you know want to stick around, and now a lot of them coming back. It's just you know, uh, the time you got to give them time, and you have to try to understand people. And I tell people read some books and try to, you know, learn, know people a bit more, because if you never really run a business before, you never, you know, dealing with people before from different races, different group of, you know, and this, of life, it can be a challenge. And I tell people, you will be successful. The more valuable you become is on Jim one again. We're gonna go back to this quote. You know, for you to be successful, you have to be able to learn, and so you can grow. Because in Atomy, become a sales master is good. You can do it. Become a diamond master, you got to deal with people.
Right.
Become a Sharon was master, your responsibility become more. Now going to be a star master is more. Now you got to be able to communicate better. You have to become more, you know, valuable, or not just valuable. That's one, but become a better leader. You know,
Yeah.
try to understand people. You know, be in the environment, and be that leader where you know you can communicate with different group of people to get them to do the same thing at the same time. You know, that take leadership. So there's a level you're gonna reach, and you're gonna feel like you need to be better. You gotta get better so you can get the team to follow you, you know, because they gotta believe in you. They gotta see, you know, where you want to take this business. You know, are you really a true leader? You know, you're gonna get tested. So
Yeah.
every level you get in Atomy, you get tested. You get tested. Really, your leaders will test you. You
Yeah.
know, without you even knowing, and the business will test you, because that's what leadership is all about.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's the same thing. Sorry, guys, I kind of taken on
No,
that.
no,
We
no,
really
no.
want to talk about this. Is one more thing. It's like it's the same thing with someone that won the lotto. You win the lotto right now. You never know how money works. You don't know how to deal with people. You barely don't even know how money works because you never have money before. Then you take that money, you go out there. Most likely you'll be broke in less than 5 to 10 years, and you're gonna probably get worse than you ever been before in your life, because you would never. Now, what Atomy do? You learning while you grow. You're learning while you're building this business. So you're learning, you know, every step of the way. I drop in any conference call, I learn from different leaders, and you know, that way I can, you know, grow and get better. Because if you do not get better, you're not gonna be able to be successful. No matter, not just in Atomy, in anything you get to do, you will limit yourself. Try not to limit yourself, because some people after they become sales master, that's all they can become.
Yep. Yeah, and that's why I think you know Chairman Park always says, you know, once you get to auto sales master, you've got pretty much the biggest portion of the work done, because now it's just the duplication of the same. But there's a lot of real good points that Michelet, that you mentioned. One is being a leader is going to test you, and this is what I always tell people. I say, look, you can tell me that you have all the faith in the world. You can tell me that you're the most humble person in the world. right? But until that gets tested and put to the test, I was like, those are just words. You know when it's going to get tested? When you get that one person that you can't stand in your organization. Let's see how humble or how much humility we really have, right? When that first obstacle or that first challenge or problem, comes up, that's where your faith is tested. What are you going to do, now that happened? And so I think that I've always relayed this to my team. I say, look, we're always going to be at the level where we are mentally and developmentally at. So there's a reason why, as much as I want to be an Imperial Master today, I'm not. And it's because I still have more to learn. I still have more to grow. I need to my way of thinking, the challenges that I come across will form everybody into where we want to be. And I think the biggest challenge that I find, an obstacle, which you also mentioned, is the employee mentality. And I'm going to give you guys an example of just right up front. Scott, before Atomy, were you a business owner?
I did. My wife and I, we had a coffee shop for about 2.5 years.
Okay. Were you a business owner prior to coming across Atomy, Michelet?
No, I used to sell insurance. That's
okay. Well, you're your own business,
right? That's on a business, because I was a 1099 and I still sell insurance.
Okay. So, the point that I want to highlight is, a lot of people that I see that are just that just run, that are getting, great results. They either already had the right type of mentality, or their mentality in the business shifted. So I've seen this with people within my own team, but I was a business owner prior to this. And there's something about having the business owner mentality, and it's a shift that has to take place with a lot of people that have only been employees for their whole life, because in a certain way, there's a sense of dependence, or, I do this, I get this back immediately, right? I work for 2 weeks, I'm going to get a paycheck. Right. And it's that shift of, now you have to work and so, and then you're going to reap, but there's a big sowing process, and it's disconnecting yourself from that old mentality of, somebody pays me my check, versus I'm working and building for my own business. And so it's not the same immediate satisfaction, you can say, right? And I think for a lot of people that have owned businesses or have worked for themselves, they know the value of patience. They know the value, especially when it comes to a traditional business where you have to pay rent, you have to pay this, you got to get employees, right? You don't break even, your first year or 2 years, maybe, right? It's 2 to 3 years. And so in Atomy, I think that's why a lot of business owners see a lot of immediate value, because they're like, wow, I don't have to pay anything. Everything I start making from the get-go is profit. So it's a different approach and mentality. And so I think that's something that at least I notice a lot with new people coming into my team, or people that simply that I just talked to and that are asking questions and wanting to get ahead. A lot of times it's as simple as just a mental shift.
Yeah. I mean, one mentorship. So that's what we call mindset, right? Mm-hmm. That don't happen overnight. And I tell anybody, when you join Atomy, it's okay to join as an employee. Welcome. You can come as as an employee with the employee mindset. It's just like the Bible. Come as you are. Come as you are. It's fine, and if you can come as a good employee, you will become a great business owner. Here's why. What's an employee do? Okay. Employee follow a system, and they do well in the system that you put them in. Isn't what an employee do? An employee don't have a mindset. An employee really have a free mind. Wherever you put them, they do well. With what? With training and development. We all agree with that, right? So now, when I don't hire you into Atomy, but if you still have a mindset of an employee, and you are a hard worker, you can be successful, especially in Atomy. First, Atomy have a system in place, which an employer have, right? An employer have a great system in place, so they can get their money out of you. They pay you hourly, because if they don't have a system, they're gonna pay you. Guess what? They're gonna go out of business. They gotta have a system so they can benefit well, of the work that you're going to do for them. Secondly, Atomy not just have a system for you to be successful, but for also you to become a business owner, to change that mindset. See, not only you come as an employee, you will be successful as an employee because they have the products. That's the work that you have to do as an employee. Share the products. You first use the products. If you like the product, you share the product. Guess what Atomy do? Atomy pay you. Okay, you start making money. What's up? What? That's the same thing. An employee wants to work, and guess what? They get paid. So you come as an employee and make sure you make money because you do what? You work. Not only have to have a system, me has the recruiter or the trainer. Okay, you that trainee, you do what is necessary. You follow the steps that given to you. Because I have steps for a new recruit. If you said you want to make money, I can help you make money the very first week in Atomy. Okay, because that's what you want to do. You want to make money. So now making the money, after making that money, guess what? I get you to the place to become a business owner.
Okay,
you see the importance of it.
So let me stop you there. So because I was going to ask exactly that, right? Because there has to be at some point in that new member's, that partner's career, they're going to have to shift in order to be able to continue to grow.
Yes.
And take that, let's say that initiative, right? From going from employee and please tell me what I need to do to I am now in a business owner mentality and I take initiative for what I need to do.
Yes.
How do you transition people like that? That's a big challenge. How do you transition? Because I've found, let's say in my personal experience, I found that different people will transition into that mindset at different times. A lot of it I've noticed is very let's say has been external influence, meaning that just necessity, just life necessity has made that person take initiative, whereas they weren't before. But I also see some people that as much as I don't get tired, I'm very patient, but as much as I attempt and train, it's just they will not snap out of that employee mentality, and they have so much potential organizationally.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like pulling teeth sometimes, and I'm like, but it has to be a personal choice, right? As much as you want to be able to drag somebody the entire way, it starts to become a burden if you're just dragging the entire way, right? There's you want to walk with those that want to walk, but you take the time to be able to train. Now, so how do you do that shift? That's what I'm still trying to figure out, to really have that level of influence and motivation to really change, like push them to change that mindset.
Let me say. Unfortunately, let me say this. It's very unfortunate, but I'm going to say it. Okay, I didn't want to say it, but I'm going to say it.
Say it.
In your organization, you're going to have three type of people. Okay, you're going to have some clappers. Okay, they're going to be there to encourage everybody. They're going to clap. They're going to show up. They're not going to do anything. And you're going to have those that will be the employee, having the employee mindset that you wish one day they will make the transition. Okay. And then you will have some of them that will take the business and probably come as an employee and make the transition. And some of them will come and take it over. You probably never heard from them. They just take it and run with it. Okay. Like you did, like I did in the business. Okay. So now, to answer your questions about the transition part, because as a leader, you have to keep your promise. Because when I sign someone into Atomy, and one thing is, if the person trusts me for me to help them become successful, and they do what is necessary to become successful. Now, anybody that have that they have the capability to win, you can change, but you have to be able to learn. Now, if the person willing to learn, they will make the change, because guess what? It is really harder, okay, for someone to come join Atomy, okay, to use the products, to share the products, okay, than to really become successful in Atomy. Why? Because the system is just that good. This is the only time, and this is the very first time in my entire life, I see a company having a system in place where you don't have to be a rocket science. You don't really have to be any smart. You don't have to be smart. Anyone that can follow 1, 2, 3. This is the only system in the world that I know of. If there's another one, somebody gotta call me and put that anyone can be successful in it and anyone can run this business because the system is just does it for you. What do you need in Atomy? You don't need a customer service, they're already done. You don't need to pack your own products. We have a warehouse.
Right.
You don't need to create a website. You don't even have to even know how to use Microsoft. Everything is that simple. I have my mom making checks on Atomy, at least 2, 3 checks every week. Okay.
Well, that's exactly what I tell people too. I mean, you don't need any special skills. You don't need the platform's been built for you. The infrastructure's in place for you. If you know how to brush your teeth and shampoo your hair, if you have hair, I don't know. But if you know how to, do dishes and do laundry and all that, you can do the Atomy business. It's just changing your buying habits.
Yes.
I tell people, it's just ride the bus, buy the products, use the products, and share the products with other people. BUS, right there. It's simple. BUS, ride the bus. You get on the bus at first and you're riding it, and eventually you go from being a passenger on the bus to actually being behind the wheel and driving it. And now you're in charge of the bus. If you want to transition that mindset, it's a lot of paradigm shifts there. You go from being that passenger to being the bus driver. And now you're helping people to ride the bus and filling up your bus as a team leader. And, I was thinking about when I first got involved with Atomy, my folk, I was like, oh, okay, I want to be a sales master. Of course, my wife was already a sales master. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a diamond master. It's all me, 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 me,
Yeah.
And I realized that, when someone wants to become a sales master, initially it is about their success. It's their challenge to challenge themselves to get, the requirements, the points in both their left and right side. But from the moment that you start thinking about being a diamond master, you need to forget about your success. Now it's no longer about your success. It's about the success of other people in your downline. The 2 people on your left, the 2 people on your right, helping them become sales masters. Huge paradigm shift for a lot of people, to think about that. Yeah, I want to be an imperial master one day, but I can't do it alone. In order to become an imperial master, you need, in a 15-day window of time, 1,000, 50 some people to challenge to become a sales master. You're not becoming an imperial master by yourself, and so you need to switch your thoughts from your success as an individual to the success of others, helping them earn their first commission, helping them sign up their first consumer, helping them learn how to share the products or teach the products, helping them learn how to tell the compensation plan, teach that. We start focusing on the success of other people, it ultimately ensures your success by default,
Yep.
And so that imperial master, or the imperial masters that we have, they focused on the success of 2 crown masters on their left and 2 crown masters on their right. And they taught that process down to their teams. And so it's right there from the sales master point to the diamond master. I think that's where that employee to business owner mindset changes.
It has to change in order to be able to get there, right? So that's interesting, because then I really feel, taking what Chairman Park says, and actually I think that's really something you just said, because I think if once you get to Diamond Master and you can get to Auto Sales Master, then you've really got the two biggest things in the bag. And as long as you remain consistent, you're on the right path. I think the challenge for a lot of people, including myself, is I like speed. I like velocity. I like fast. And so I think that's where a lot of times the frustration happens, where it's like, guys, if we all run at the same speed, right? If I'm talking about everybody runs at the same speed, I mean, explode.
I've got a teaching I do on speed, and here's the analogy with it. My presentation, I've got this cartoon image of an airport, and I've got the word Atomy there. It's Atomy's airport, right? And I show this plane going down the runway at 10% effort, right? 10% throttle. And I ask people, I said, what's going to happen to that plane? They're going to get to the end of the runway. And that's what they're going to do. They're just going to cruise on down the runway. So what happens if they go at 50% throttle? Okay, so now they're going faster, right? They're just going to get to the end of the runway 50% faster. In order for a plane to get off the ground for a short period of time, you have to go at 100%. You 100% throttle. If you've ever flown, you know what that feels like. You know, we're taking off, you get knocked back into your seat, you get going, and you get to the end of the runway, and now you're airborne. And once you get up to that 30,000 foot level, that's when you feel the thrusters come back. You feel the pilot pull back, and now we're going at 50%, right? But for that short period of time, you got to go 100%. You got to give it everything in order to get off the ground. And that is the same thing in Atomy. You've got to you work with your sponsors, work with your teams, work with your partners, and just go, 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 go. And next thing you know, you're getting those commissions. You become auto sales master. Next thing you know, you're helping your other members become sales masters. You're now a diamond master. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't go fast when you're in those upper levels of mastership too. There are moments.
Right.
So during those challenge periods that we all will have until the day we become Imperial Masters, there are going to be moments when we're going to need to throttle down and go 100% in order to get off the ground to that next mastership level and be able to bring our teams up with us, right?
Yeah, I do want to add something to that because I love that analogy and I use it all the time. But something even more, once the plane takes off, I always tell people, when have you ever seen the pilot, once wheels are off the ground, turn around and say, hey, I need to go to the restroom? Or, hey, I'm going to go have a snack. And that's what that's what a lot of people will do is the plane has just taken off. I'm flying. I'm flying. So you know what? Let me go grab a snack. Let me go hit the bathroom. Let me go. And I tell them, like, that's where you need to be so unbelievably focused because you just took off. So you got to keep the trajectory, you got to keep the trajectory going. You got to be focused. You got to have your eyes in front of you. You got to be doing. Once you go a little bit higher, then and you go into that cruising altitude, right? Then you can. But
listen, this is so great. It's funny. We all like the same story. I talk about it the first time we met too. The same. Wow, let me tell you, man. So now, so this is what happens. Success related. We are all related somewhere somehow. Okay, so now let's just say something. See, after and I believe we all experienced the same thing. They took off part of the plane, and once we get to the level of cruising, so we as the leader is one thing that you might never get in that level again, in that position where you think you're gonna be able to start the way you started. You cannot go back. The only way, the best way, I believe, that's how I managed to do it at least, is to recruit someone and find that person. And because some people need you to work with them, get their lease, they sign them up, they place the order, they love the company. and you that pilot now. You're gonna work with them on that list, three-way score, and you hold them, hold their hand, or the second pilot, where both of you, running that plane, and so you can help them take off. Okay, see, that's how I believe the teamwork really help. And I tell my leaders all the time. And for this year, that's something that we created, is really everybody make the list, and then I get the leaders to call the list. I believe two is better than one when you make a phone call. Having someone that have more experience in the business to because that person used to you, they already know you, they feel that when they hear Scott call them, Alfonso call them, like, and they were the line and talking about the business, the experience, you giving your testimony. Now that person's like, okay, this is serious business. Okay, so now the credibility is good. That make it easier. If it's not so good, that make it harder. But at least you got a better shot when you get two people. A better shot when you got two people doing the recruiting, especially in the three-way call, than one.
Yeah.
So now I like it, man. This is great, man. I'm learning from you guys too.
Well, I think too, we're going back to the purpose of a center, right? As an education tool.
Yes.
It's a tool. It is a tool. And I tell all of my members that come in these doors here that this center is not Scott Kampen Center. This is your tool to use to grow your business. If you want to have someone come in here, if you want to come and show them the products, do a facial here. If you want to bring people here and have me teach them the compensation plan. If you want to have, we had a party here. I'll tell you this little story. I had this gentleman come in here. He's a Filipino guy. He's in his 70s. Great guy. He comes in here. He signs up. A week later, he asked me, he says, hey, do you think we could have a party here? I want to bring some of my friends. I'm like, sure, not a problem. So we have a potluck here, right? I'll let you know something. It was a special event, so he made a special meal. I'll tell you what, I never had boiled goat before, but it took me 3 days to air the center out. But I tell you what, that night, you know what happened? We signed up 9 people that night, right? And some of those people have taken the ABR class now. And so having a center or inviting people to the one-day seminars and the success seminars, that gets them to hear, like you said, Michelet, a different perspective. Because when they're hearing, you speak about this, someone, and they're like, oh, Michelet, he's always telling me about this thing, But then when they hear someone else say the same message, and from, it gives them a different perspective. And now they're like you said, it's got that legitimacy to it. And so the training, the centers, all of that, those are tools that all of our members can use. Those who want to do the business, it's their tools to freely use at any time. And I think Atomy does a great job of making things like this available. What we need to open a center, in my opinion, on every street corner in America. That's my opinion.
It's got to be like Starbucks, where there's one.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
I mentioned that to you last time when we had the success seminar back here in October or November. Had a meeting and Chairman Park was there, and I walked up to his table and I took his coffee cup and it had the Starbucks logo on it. And I asked the team that was there. There were 3 Imperial Masters were in the room, Crown Masters, all sort of Royal Masters, everybody. And I just said, why does this not say Atomy on it? You know why? It's because that company, Starbucks, they opened centers, Starbucks centers on every street corner. The brand is out there. People recognize it, Same concept with our centers. And that's the thing, my center, it's right out here. I've got a road that passes. I've got the big Atomy sign out on the front. People stop in here because they see the center. They see that. They're like, what is this place? And I've seen too many centers get opened up in these corporate buildings where there's no signage on the front of them.
Yeah.
And nobody knows they exist.
Yep.
Our Atomy headquarters. This is my goal for our new director coming here to Atomy America, Director Green.
Plaster the sign.
My move to a different building. Nobody knows where our Atomy USA headquarters is. And when I bring them there, they're all excited. Oh, I'm going to the Atomy headquarters. And then when they get there, they're like, where is it? And I'm like, well, we're on the third floor and the second floor of that corporate building right there. There's no signage out front. Yeah. So until we start branding effectively the Atomy brand, that logo, the communities aren't going to know we exist. And so we need to make our centers open. We need to help people open centers. Those who have the mindset to manage it, and lead it and grow it. But let
me say this so I don't forget it. Scott, this is a good point you're saying. Seeing is believing. So when more people see, the sign, and just like you show, you think, the Starbucks cups, and I tell people, not only you just talking about the products, the people want to see it.
Yeah.
I have this magazine almost like, every place I have Atomy books, and I would have Atomy products even in my pocket if I stick my hand right now. I don't only have the business card, I have vitamin C. I always have something that said Atomy. You know why? Not just because I'm gonna take. That's what I'm talking about. That's right. That's right. Why is that? So why we do that? It's simply because we're not just talking about a dead company. This is something that we can touch. This is not just online. We bring it home. It's what's the word for it? It's something that you can see, you can touch. Okay, this is I can get a word for it, but
it's tangible.
It's tangible. Yeah. Okay, Atomy is not just online. It's tangible. Okay, so now this is not a background Scott have behind him. This is products.
That's my center. Yeah,
that's the center. This is real. This is a real company. So now we need people to know that, and the more they see it, they believe it, and now they want to be part of it. And I'm excited, man. Listen, and the best thing is I tell people now, join Atomy. You better hurry up, because one day you'll be the one calling me to join Atomy. So if I come to you, you need to hurry up, because let me tell you, you're not gonna see me for too long. I might not be in this area. I might have to move to LA or move to Palm Beach. Mitch going to make $50,000 a month. Mitch going to make
and that's a good point you bring up about the fact that when you open a center as a center manager, you feel kind of stuck. It's like, okay, now I'm here. I have to have this place open. I can't just close the door. I've got to be here. And so now it's like, well, how do I get out there, right? So like I was talking to my wife, my goal with this center is that someday I'm going to transfer ownership of it to one of my leaders.
Yes.
In this area, so it's not about just, opening a center and sitting back and waiting for people to walk through the front door. That's not how it happens,
Right.
And so, but it's a tool. It's a tool that people can use, and then my goal is to transfer it to a leader in my group that wants us to manage a center and to help them grow their business.
Well, you know what's something that stands out as you guys were mentioning all this, when Michelet and I were out in Korea, in South Korea, we went to the Sejong Success Center, which is the education center of the 5th Imperial Master.
Yeah.
When I started in Atomy, there were 7.
Yeah.
Right. So now we're double, but it just gives you perspective as to, the 5th Imperial Master obviously came a little bit before that. And he was talking about, he turned around and looked at this guy that was running the sound. Right. He goes, you see him, he's a sales master. And he was his direct sponsor. And that really stood out to me, because I'm like, you've been an Imperial Master for God knows how long already, however many years.
Yeah.
I mean, you really don't need to register anybody. You don't need to recruit anybody. anymore, and you're still going to be just fine, right? You can now enjoy the fruits of your labor. But when you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And I think it just becomes such a natural part of your lifestyle. And he still comes to the center, and he still uses it as a tool, so much so that he's still popping out sales master, being an imperial master himself, right? And I think that there's something about, I mean, you guys are just, frankly, you guys are convincing me on opening up an education center.
Yeah. Listen, it's not a job. Doing Atomy is not a job. It's not a job. This is a family business. This is an organization. This is however you want to call it. It's gonna be. This is something that's a part of you. And first, what we do with Atomy, we first consume. We are the first consumers.
Great.
We of Atomy. Everything in my house, if Atomy have it, I have it. So therefore, I'm an Atomian for life. My kids, they're not gonna use any other products. Daddy, this product's almost done. I have a big shelves, only Atomy. They just go and grab what they need. And I have my second daughter. She's a business owner already. She's an entrepreneur mindset. She write down everything, and people can check. I didn't even do that. She did that. She's 9 years old. She's a gymnast. She organized everything, and something almost done, one left or two left. She write it down, and I will just come and do my inventory and place the order. I don't even have to do nothing. Okay, she's done that. So now, what's that do? You haven't doing Atomy, not just using. Be a good consumer, and then get the products. Get your kids to be part of this business. Get your, make your home Atomy. Then you just become easier and easier and easier for you, and you just build yourself a family business. I believe this is the CEO really mentality. That's how you become financially free in Atomy. You saving money using Atomy products because you're making money by using Atomy's products. Now you sharing the products that you use. You got emotion. You got, now people can see it in you, because now, a lot of time it's just like you're doing a job, you're selling something for somebody. You do it because you get paid. Okay, so now you don't have no emotion. It might be hard for you to sell, but in Atomy, guys, listen, if I talk to 10 people, my recruiting ratio is about 7. Okay, so now if you give me the time and day, I will recruit you. That's because that's how passionate I am. You see what I mean? So now, because I have it in me, I believe it because I use the products. And besides, the Atomy products saved my life. So now you gotta sell it at that level where people, believe. Because trust me, people's not join Atomy because of Atomy. They're not joining Atomy because of the products. They don't know about the products. They don't know about the company. They're going to join Atomy simply because of
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, once they become a member and use the products, now you cannot separate them with Atomy. If you did a good enough job, that just sign them up and let them go. Sign them up and use the products. See, a lot of time people sign up a lot of people, but they don't do the job. They don't finish. And I said that all the time, and to all my new recruits. A recruit is not a recruit until you place an order. Okay, and you're not a leader until you recruit somebody. Okay, right. So now, what do you want to do if you want to do this business? You will follow the steps to do those things because you want to be in Mitch's team. I got this guy. He came to the office last Saturday. He's like, Mitch, I want to be everywhere you are. You are. Let me know 2 weeks in advance. I can take off work. I take off work because I want to be there. I have a one-day seminar coming. You already call me, Mitch, I'm going to bring 5 people. I said, that's what I'm talking about. Make it 10. See, now you want people to see it in you because you are the example. You are the leader. You must be, you must be able to, people to want to follow you. You have to be, let me put it that way. You have to be good enough where people want to be around you and you don't just push people away. If you feel like people's running away from you, you got to check yourself as a leader because none of us are perfect. We all have our flaws. We all have. But now, if you feel like, when you talk to someone, they're not, they went away, you don't hear from them, hey, check yourself. Sometimes I talk to my wife, I was like, baby, how am I doing? You know, because she's really the one that know me the most, you know. She's my wife. How am I doing, baby? All right, baby. Like, you can just bring it down a little bit. I said, baby, about what? I cannot bring down Atomy, baby. You know, I cannot bring down Atomy. What is it going to bring down? All right, maybe talk a little bit, you know. Maybe you talk too loud. I said, is it I talk too loud? That's not the problem, but sometimes, you know, you're doing eating, man, I can sleep in the house. I said, oh boy, that's not a bad problem, baby. That's a good problem to have, because just come join me.
You know what's funny? There's something that you said, and a certain phrase comes to mind, which you must be the leader you wish you had. And I get a lot of people that's like, oh well, you know, my leader doesn't do this, or my leader doesn't do this, or I would like this. Say you need to be the best version of the leader that you want, that you wish that you could have.
Yes.
That you wish you could. You be that original.
And you know, in Atomy and our leadership, and you know, you and I, you guys are in a different network than I am. Yeah. So you know your upline. There's so many leaders that are really good. So many people that are really, really good above us that you know, they've been through the same struggles we've been through, and they're always willing to share, always willing to help. You know, help guide and everything. And so I look at all the different leaders. When I opened this center, when I signed the contract for the lease here, shortly thereafter, my direct upline sponsor stopped doing the business. And they were, you know, they were the ones helping me on one of my downlines, my left downline. And that came to a screeching halt. And so I had a decision to make, you know, and I realized that you know, my success is not dependent upon my upline leadership. You know, there's a Zig Ziglar quote I've used many times since I met him in 1996 in Seattle, and he said, "If it's gonna be, it's up to me."
It's up to you. Yeah.
You know, and so it's that been the mantra for me for my entire life. If it's going to be, it's up to me. I'm the one that needs to take the action. I'm the one that needs to put my pants on in the morning, get up out of bed, and make the day happen. And nobody's going to do it for me. You know, well, maybe in about 40 more years they will. But you know,
you still got a long time before that starts.
Right, I'm going to be Imperial Master by then, right?
Yeah. So now what you're saying is, and it's I experienced the same thing. My direct upline, I think I don't know, like maybe 10, 15 people before I get to an upline. 15 uplines, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
Okay. I call them sponsors. Okay. And the upline is really, the uplines is a bunch of people, but the sponsors is those that's really, you know, doing the business. Okay. So you are
sponsors are the ones that pick up the phone when you call.
That pick up the phone when you call. So now I got a lot of uplines, you know, and no matter of fact, some of them go red. I was like, how can I be in somebody's business, you know, bringing thousands of people, making a lot of money for you to let, you know, your ID to go red. So now you're gonna see that. So now it's one thing, you know, and I had that conversation with my wife because I was looking at my second daughter. I'm not bragging of her, but my wife, like, you know, she encouraged me because she have a business mindset since she's little. She's the kind of girl, she wake up in the morning, you don't have to wake her up. You know, she does everything automatically since she's a little girl. You know, she's 9 years old. She wants to be a gymnast. She look for the school. She get to the gym. She tell everybody. She tell the teacher. You know, she look for the gym because my wife didn't want to be a gymnast. When she get to the school, she tell the person in charge. You know, she asked for whoever in charge, and she's like, "Who do you guys, you know, send to Olympic before?" I'm looking at my wife, and they're looking at us. They said, "We have one person." She said, "Good." And the lady is looking at her. She's, why do you ask? She said, well, you just have your second one. Okay. So now this is, I was like, that was very unexpected, you know, because she want to make sure she's in the winning school. She don't want to go to a fair school. So now when somebody join Atomy, it's like, this is a company that's already winning. We have how many Imperial Masters? We have how many Crown Masters? We've been to the South Korea. There's so many people making so much money. You know, now you have your chance here to be successful in Atomy. If you just do the simple thing, Atomy is not hard. It's not difficult. I know we're about, we're almost done. I just want everybody, anybody that listening to this right now, do not, look away, and do not stop, and never stop. Because I find people, they will quit in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. They don't finish the race. Because there's one thing I tell anybody: success, take discipline. It also take time, and it take endurance. Do not stop. If you see the vision one time, and you see other people have done it, and you believe inside of you can do it. If you don't do that, you're gonna be miserable for the rest of your life. This is me. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Alfredo. Man, that was great.
Thank you, guys. That was the first run through go around of panel discussion, and I think the great thing is the more that we're able to have this, I just think the more dynamic and comfortable and everything vibing. So I hope that as you're listening, or if you've been watching us, hope you've been picking up some of these gems, because luckily Scott and Michelet are not charging for these nuggets of information, so they're providing it at no charge. And really, more than anything, is just we want you to know that you're not alone. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I want to bring up some of these topics, is because a lot of times you may think that you're only experiencing this. You must be, the only person out of all Atomy that's going through some of these situations. And you'll come to find that it's actually much more common than you think, and you're not alone. So we're all in the same boat. We're all striving to achieve and reach our dreams, but we're going to go through a lot of very similar problems. It's not always going to be identical, but it's going to be very similar. And so being able to have an outlet where you understand you're not the only one, and you can hear different perspectives on how to approach it, really, that's the value that we want to bring you here. So I appreciate everybody joining, listening on the podcast, on YouTube. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And we'll be back with some more panel discussions here with our friends Scott and Michelet. Guys, thank you so much. And everybody, we wish you a great night, great day, great morning, depending on when you're listening or watching this. See you in the next one.